Ethereum is dying versus Bitcoin. You can see in front of you over the past few months, Ethereum's been bleeding versus Bitcoin because Bitcoin's really been stealing the show with all the ETF news, with the, flight to safety narrative, with the banking collapse. It really has been Bitcoin's time to shine this year, and that has a lot of people kind of becoming Bitcoin maxis versus other altcoins, Ethereum included. But I want to remind you that when the Bitcoin bulls are at their loudest, when you couldn't possibly think ETH could bleed more versus Bitcoin, that is when things historically tend to reverse. So despite right now market conditions looking far more favorable for Bitcoin than ETH, I think things are going to turn, and I think what could mark the turning point for Ethereum and the Ethereum ecosystem is the Cancun upgrade, the EIP 4844 upgrade that's coming later in this year towards Q4, potentially could be delayed until Q1 2024, but that upgrade is going to be one of the biggest catalysts for crypto in my opinion, because ETH is the leader of the altcoins, and off the back of Ethereum, you have a massive L2 ecosystem and also a huge DeFi ecosystem, which could be the beneficiary of this upgrade. So I want to talk about this catalyst today and why it is so important, and some of my altcoin picks from this sector. Now, before we get into any of that stuff, firstly, you have to understand what EIP 4844 is, the Ethereum Cancun upgrade to introduce proto-dank sharding. So essentially, the Shanghai upgrade on Ethereum is now complete. We saw the merge, which transferred Ethereum from a proof of work network to a proof of stake network. Then this year in April, we saw the Shanghai Capella or Shapella upgrade, which enabled redemptions of Ethereum on the Beacon chain to facilitate native Ethereum staking. Those two upgrades are behind us. So what's the next big upgrade for Ethereum? Well, it's already underway. The Ethereum devs, since the completion of Shapella, have been hard at work with issuing the latest upgrade, which is called Cancun Deneb. Cancun, so the first part of that phrase, refers to the upgrade for the execution layer, whilst Deneb, the second part of the phrase, refers to the upgrade for the consensus layer, hence giving rise to a combined name, Cancun Deneb. So this upgrade targets the scalability of the Ethereum blockchain, with a key focus on the upgrade resting on EIP 4844, which is being commonly referred to as proto-dank sharding. Now, proto-dank sharding is a key element in building Ethereum's long-term roll-up-centric roadmap, and is expected to improve data availability for rollups and result in significant reductions in gas fees on ETH L2 rollups. And that second component of the sentence there is the key, the reduction in gas fees for L2 rollups, which I'm hearing will be by an order of magnitude, and you need proto-dank sharding in order to pave the way for future rollup solutions, which we can see exemplified in Ethereum's roadmap here. We know ETH is currently conducting a very vast roadmap, which will probably take the best part of a decade to complete. You have the merge complete, you have the Shanghai upgrade complete, which now allows staking. Now we are on to the second part of this roadmap here, the surge. And the first part of the surge, if we actually zoom in, as you can see, is EIP 4844 and then EIP 4844 implementation. This is a vital part of the surge in order to help Ethereum reach, as we can see here, its goal of 100,000 transactions per second to be completed in order to make Ethereum a more scalable network. So let's go into the specifics of proto-dank sharding. So proto-dank sharding is a method to significantly reduce the cost incurred by rollups in adding data from rollup transactions to L1 Ethereum, so the consensus layer of the Ethereum network itself. We can see here on L2s, whenever you send ETH back and forth, as you can see in front of you, or swap tokens, you do pay a fee. Now, the fees on L2s are significantly cheaper than Ethereum, but when we think of our ultimate L1 network, do we still think that 12 cent, 14 cent, 21 cent sends during quiet periods of the market, or 38 to 50 cent swap fees is really what we want? The answer is probably no. I mean, in order to make this network fully scalable, fees need to be so low that you don't even feel the pinch. And for some people, they might start feeling the pinch when you are doing more complex transactions during periods of network congestion, where you may end up paying, even on current L2s, $2, $3, $4, $5, even up to $10 I've seen sometimes worth of fees per transaction. It's too much. So what this is going to do, this new upgrade, EIP 4844, is significantly reduce these fees. And look, fees won't be at their final lowest target amount after this upgrade, but it will be a significant decrease, the most significant decrease in L2 fees we have currently seen to date, but more importantly, it's going to pave the way for fees going even lower once this solution, EIP 4844, is implemented. Now, at the moment, rollups are able to reduce the cost of transactions by batching thousands of transactions into a single transaction. That's essentially how a rollup works. It rolls up all of these transactions into one singular transaction, and then it posts the data to the L1, which is Ethereum, of course, as call data. However, since the transaction is posted to Ethereum, where it's still having to be processed by Ethereum's nodes and stored on chain, that clogs up the network and makes single transactions very expensive. I mean, we can still affirm here that, 20, 30, 40 cent gas fee, even at its cheapest, is still relatively expensive if we think about, what the purpose of these networks is long term, and that's to have millions and millions of users. So that places a floor essentially on how low the transaction fees can get on rollups. That floor can't be reduced until that solution is implemented, and of course, this solution is going to be proto-dank sharding. So Cancun Deneb, which will bring EIP 4844 live on the Ethereum network, is expected to be completed at the